I think that's a good idea with the boarding school. I think just getting as many school gardens up and going as we can. I know with our staff in Tuba and our Eagles Nest School, we have a staff of 4, and it's just been really hard to just keep maintain that one garden. We did approach the boarding school, met with the principal there and some of the teachers, and we have a curriculum where they learn about watering, about garden management, about bugs, all kinds of things. But they just were not interested in it. But I think if they hear more from parents, that they might start to change their minds. So.
Anyone else who hasn't had the mic yet that would like to have a chance to speak?
Let me say something about the community garden. We have one in Cameron in the canyon as you cross over on the bridge down in the canyon. I was down there early in the spring. Tina Pashlage took us down there. And it's a beautiful, income comes in there. We don't have the monies to do a year-round type of gardening down there. In that house, it's nice. It's construction. The main frames are there, but we need to have it enclosed and plant in there, see what it does, and then have water. We have water access. Right there's the river, and we could pump water out of there and make that a real good place to garden for the community. Maybe one family can start it and they get interested, the rest of the community.
Thank you. That's an excellent example. It is a beautiful facility down there in the canyon. And we were challenged. There were 3 families that planted when we started this year. And we actually were able to divert some funds to get a rainwater harvesting tank. There is an alluvial well that was used years and years ago that would need to be renovated. And we had a commitment from the chapter house, actually, that they said they would supply the water. But something happened with the relationship with the chapter house. We need support in trying to help our chapter houses work with us.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Lou, for bringing that up. Yeah, Cameron was a challenge, and I think it is really much. The Cameron Farm project was started in the 1970s, and I think the history of Cameron was that they've been burned by other farm programs, and that's a challenge to us that want to start this now, because people want to see it prospering and be thriving before they get back on board. And for our program, we go out there and we support the community and assist with supplies and stuff. But it really is in Cameron, because it's my home community. Everybody there's my family, my relatives. It's really hard to get anybody to go down there, and Mary Lou was part of the initial group that we started with. And in looking at Cameron, at that community garden, it is a real challenge. But one of the things that over the past year, it really has to be each community member, and just like she said with the kids. So one of the things that this year I have a lot of hope for is that we have a superintendent that's pretty motivated with the Tuba City School District, that's working with John Hopkins and Trudy's program in bringing a community garden to the schools. So I've spoken with the new principal at Zitla Bay, Mr. Roberson, and he wants to start a school garden in Cameron. And I think one of the things that is a problem among everybody, and not just in Cameron, is that they feel like I don't want to make a sweeping stereotype, but they it's just not something they've done, like your mom's doing it, and you, Ado, Adeya, Nitsoketon Nalake. So it's kind of skipped a generation, and I'm from the generation where we watched TV and, got into the system of buying our groceries. So it takes a little bit of just planting that seed among the kids, and then also just actually having them put their hand in the soil and thinking, oh, I guess I can plant, I can do this. And I think it can start at the school level too, and then also giving people, teaching them that it's okay to serve the community. Be like the AmeriCorps, the Youth Conservation Corps, getting them involved. So I've talked to Mr. Roberson, and we've talked about that big wash that's coming through and kind of breaking down the school fence, that nice new fence. And if that wash keeps coming through, it's going to level that fence. But landscaping and catching that water, and then, all these people have really good ideas, and it's also approaching our leaders about water issues, water rights. Can we use that water down at the Little Colorado, or will we be immediately arrested? That kind of thing. But we have bought a water tank for Cameron, and we got to ask our leaders to help us and not just pass a resolution. Yes, I support a community garden. It means coming down there and showing up and taking part and being a part of the community again. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Tina. And when you do set up that meeting, if you'd like me to attend, there's my card. Please give me a call. I'll make the time. All right, let's spend 5 minutes. Michelle has been feverishly taking notes. Let's take 5 minutes to try and capture what you think the key points are that we should share with the other group when they come back in and join us. So the first question was, what are the main issues that we're addressing? And we also talked about some problem solving for that. What are the key points that we should share with the other group? Do you want to summarize what you had and see if we miss anything?
Sure. So the key points that I had were expanding the reach of this program and increasing community involvement. Different solutions were advertising, word of mouth, having more community events, and greater volunteerism. Another issue was, how do we maintain the enthusiasm of volunteers and also the enthusiasm of kind of new farmers who are interested in the community gardens? And one idea was the need for farmer-to-farmer support, that many volunteers and new farmers have little knowledge about farming and need support from more established farmers. Another problem was limited income prevents entry into farming. And solutions were more training, more information about the resources that are available. You mentioned that Dene Inc. has tools and other resources available for those who have signed up for workshops, and also the possibility of organizing groups within a community to share machinery if cost is an issue. Another problem was weed control. Weeds taking up water, and you mentioned kind of viewing the problem as a solution. You can harvest the weeds for use. For Russian olive, you mentioned firewood and composting. For, I believe, cattail can be used for medicinal uses or for crafts. And tamarisk and Russian olive, you said, is I think, windbreak. And also you mentioned that mulching can keep weeds down. And another problem was just kind of how to manage the soil, and solutions were mulching, composting, and resting the field. So it was kind of problems and solutions. In terms of what is working, let's see, what is working and what we'd like to see more of. More education about grants available to beginning farmers, to continue bringing outside resources in. You mentioned the website navajofarms.com and how a video on how to make productive a very small space. Another thing that's working, you mentioned that this emphasis on farming kind of keeps kids out of trouble, and that we should work to encourage the development of more school gardens, with the goal of having a garden in every school. And lastly, to work to develop more of the community gardens in Cameron, and also the garden in Curly Valley.
Excellent summary. Any points that Michelle missed that we should add to that?
One was about the need for a better irrigation system, and that we're just kind of wasting water.
Jonathan's got a solution for that with drip irrigation. Call Jonathan. Anyone else? Anything else that we missed? Okay, good. Then that will wrap up this first session for this morning. We can all take a quick stretch and a break. I'll bring the other group in here, and then I'll ask them if they'll report back first, and then we can summarize for them, and then we'll have lunch. Thank you all for participating.